Good to go.
4 cameras. There's a reason we have a crowd behind us, but first we're going to start with the 6th Amendment. And there is a good reason why. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Today marks the day of the largest, most grossest violation of the 6th Amendment. That is all I have to say.
So we were upstairs and, I can just talk next to you. So we were upstairs and Eric Parker was on the stand. There was another objection. The judge says, we will not be wasting any more time with this with sidebars. Marchese asked him, so what direction you were looking? He's like, I was looking forward and up and to the right. The judge herself calls a sidebar, and Eric Parker is ripped from the stand and no longer allowed to testify. There will be no cross-examination, there will be no jury questions, and court is done for the day.
What happened to the one jury question we saw pass?
There was one jury question. I can tell you that the jurors were shocked and appalled, I hope. And one juror wrote a question, the judge read it and threw it down and walked out. I would be surprised if we come back Monday and are allowed to hear Scott Drexler take the stand. I would be surprised she doesn't call this a mistrial first thing Monday morning. Now I'm going to open this up to everyone behind me because I think we need to have everyone's opinion on exactly how this went.
Their voices.
So who's ever going to take the next one?
John, let's hear from you.
Oh, here's Sean at
My-
first, yeah.
My retried 3 times. Every time they tried to raise the question that Eric would say who was up on the mesa with snipers pointing rifles at them. We knew that that's what was up there. He was not allowed to even mention the mesa. He wasn't allowed to mention the telescope that he had that they could see the snipers from. They said that the prosecution totally objected to everything, and everything was sustained every single time by the judge. And the problem with that is that they will not allow any of the BLM or any of the agents to be found guilty of doing anything. Even the suggestion of it says that it would absolutely create a nullification, and they are not going to allow that. They will never have it in this court.
Maybe I'll just say one thing about what Eric Parker saw. At that time I had a set of 10 by 60 Zeiss binoculars. Anybody knows that is the top glass in the world. Not only could I see the snipers, but I could see they were in prone and their rifles were on tripods. They were ready to go.
That wasn't allowed to be heard, though. Today is one of the most biggest gross injustices I have seen in any of these courtrooms since I've been doing court observing for multiple years. Today, they won't even let a defendant testify. He didn't get even an hour of testimony out with multiple objections on things that even he would testify and say such things as, what did you see? And he said, I seen things. He couldn't even mention the BLM trucks because they objected to it. We watched the videos of the BLM trucks. The jurors knows they were there. The jurors know that there was BLM agents there, but Eric Parker is not even allowed to talk about this stuff. There is just on and on of misconduct of this court and this judge, and today is a sad day for the American people, and there should have been more people here watching this. I'm going to pass this on to somebody else, whoever wants to say something else.
Yeah, I hope the jury sees through this. The judge and the prosecutor, they live in fear that the jury is going to know the truth. And the fact that they might nullify, that they might vote their conscience is something that they just don't want to let it happen.
It's just innocent.
It's just, well, it doesn't have to be nullification, but they have to be able to use their judgment, and they can't when they don't see the truth.
And what did the judge say about nullification today? Do you recall that?
Not allowed in her court.
Not
She's not allowed.
She's not allowed to speak about it to the jury. This woman is out of control. She's letting the prosecution dictate to her what they want done, and she kowtows to them. She's inept. She doesn't even look educated. She's a disgrace. This is an outrage. These defendants have not been able to help themselves or put on even the most basic defense. I came here because I kept hearing this stuff. You can't believe it unless you see it. We need more of a presence down here, and they need to know the country is watching, and they need to follow the Constitution, or at least the basic tenets, and let these people put on a defense for themselves.
Miss Sheila, where did you come from real quick? I'm sorry.
I came down from Eugene, Oregon 2 days ago, and it's a shame. This is a travesty and an outrage. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it myself.
Thank you.
I have Neil Walper from Los Osos, California, Little Paradise. These judges, like Navarro, serve on good behavior for life. And it's high time a judge like Navarro is impeached and kicked off the bench. What she's been doing and perpetrating in this courtroom is absolutely outrageous and flagrant violation of any kind of fair trial. Our ability, she is dragging the U.S. justice system through the mud.
Yeah.
And we are losing and developing a horrible disregard for our own justice system. They are losing our consent due to the conduct that Navarro was showing in this trial.
How would you compare her to Anna J. Brown?
Well, yes, as you folks may know, I had some experience with dear old Anna. We started calling Anna Brown the Queen of Hearts, or the Red Queen up there in Portland. But quite honestly, she's looking quite benign now compared to Navarro. But of course, Navarro has looked at our trial up there, in which myself and Ammon and the rest were all found not guilty on. And Navarro is absolutely determined to have none of that kind of thing in her courtroom. She is absolutely determined to get guilty verdicts no matter what, come hell or high water. And her bias and her teamwork with the prosecution is so absolutely flagrant that it is mind-boggling. So I'll say once again, these judges serve their time on good behavior, and Navarro very, very much so is a candidate for impeachment. Thank you.
I have one more thing to say. If there are any judges or anybody who is in the know about how a real trial is supposed to happen, they need to come down and do a peer review of this woman's performance. We need you. Also, media, you have to come in and look at this. Even if you are against the Bundys, I don't care. You need to come in and see what's happening to this system. So any judge, somebody, come do some peer review on this very much out of control judge, supposed judge.
Her tour is completely broken.
I just want to go back into my notes just a little bit. When Myrie says, for Eric Parker to say, I saw BLM officers raise weapons, is not, saying that provocation is not a defense. When an officer points a gun at you, you have no right to defend yourself by pointing any gun back towards him or any other way. So a provocation from an official that we believe is not a legitimate official is no reason that you can defend yourself. And so they left no self-defense, and they said all of that would be jury nullification, and they're not going to allow that.
Now, Sean, real quick, didn't the judge ask for other witnesses?
She did ask him for other witnesses, and they were not prepared for any other witnesses. All the witnesses that were proffered yesterday were totally stricken. They were not allowed to say anything. Even the news people that were there, Dennis Michael Lynch, Shannon Bushman, none of these guys were allowed to testify, and they're heartbroken because they want to tell the truth. We want the truth, and there is no blind justice here. There is no justice, period. This is all a railroad job to put these men into prison, and it is disgusting. Everybody here is absolutely in shock and ready to throw up. It's just sickening.
One thing we know, the truth is the government's biggest fear here.
It is.
The truth is the government's biggest fear. I don't remember exactly the quote Ammon Bundy said, but he said something about truth is the easiest thing to see. And
sunlight is the best.
That's right. That's right. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. The government is fearful of the truth here, and that's exactly what we've seen here today. They don't want the truth out there. Eric Parker, Scott Drexler, these defendants were there. They should have the right to be up on that stand, telling their side of it. And we've seen that Eric Parker today got removed from the stand, and he was stunned. He was shocked. Eric Parker was crying afterwards. and he's a strong guy, but he's trying to fight for his life here, and he's not allowed to do that. He's not allowed to defend himself. The biggest, most grossest injustice I've ever seen in this court to the American people. We need people down here Monday morning, as many as we can get down here. We need more than 35 people. We need 100 people down here.
And just in case people don't realize the effect of all the millions of dollars that have been used on this trial, something was put into perspective for me. The judge is in control of the entire budget for the defense and the prosecution. Now, they testified that there was 410 people down in that wash. I'm sure there are many that are willing to testify, and as a matter of fact, I know there are, and they're not letting them come in. And the judge is in control of the budget of all the evidence that they can use and put through. So she's pulling all the strings here, and it's not good for our country. You need to get out here and witness it for yourself.
Definitely not a separation of powers.
All Americans.
All Americans down here. We need everybody down here Monday morning. I don't think if there's, or you want to say something?
One more thing, real quick. President Washington said, if freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent they may be led like sheep to the slaughter. The American people are being slaughtered right now. They are being slaughtered.
Absolutely.
They are.
Amen. This is a question for Andrea.
I'm coming over.
I've got to say first that it's so amazing to have this many people and have all of this perspective brought out for you guys, and I'm so glad that we could experience this together. It was a very emotional time up there. What Eric was saying when he was pulled off the stand, he said, what direction were you looking? And he said, I was looking straight forward and up and to the right. What they are objecting to is he talked about snipers. There was snipers. There was someone that showed him binoculars that showed him those snipers, and he was not allowed to say that. He tried at first to say he was looking at a truck of people with plain clothes. They said he could actually say that. That was objected to, sustained. And he said, well, what direction are you looking in? And he's like, I was mainly looking forward and up and to the right. Objection, sidebar, and he is taken off the stand. Is there anyone else here that would like to say what they felt or saw in there today?
Yeah, I'd like to say what I heard today, because if I hadn't seen this with my own eyes before this happened, I wouldn't believe it. Of course, we know Andrea, everything that she shared, when you get in court, it's actually worse than she actually, said. It's absolutely amazing. Like the other day, the last trial, 14 of 16 defendants weren't allowed to testify. 14 of 16. And the government said it's because there was an ongoing investigation and they were unindicted co-conspirators, and therefore their testimony would be unreliable. And then the other day he says, oh, we've never alleged that the other people were unindicted co-conspirators. Yes, you have. And so now they've taken a different tack to keep people off the stand. They didn't just eviscerate the defense, they have completely obliterated all of it. To do this to Eric Parker should wake you up that this is no longer the America that you were raised to believe it is. This is a communist regime. And the Department of Injustice was the first takeover, and we're seeing it loud and clear right here. I hope you'll all be here Monday.
What happened to drain the swamp?
Oh yeah, no. They refilled the swamp with the same people, with the same ones that were already in there.
Drowned in the swamp.
Instead of the blue coats, it's the red coats in there now.
Does anybody else have anything?
Yes.
Well, I was shocked, as I'm sure everyone else was, when the judge cut the testimony short. Eric Parker was just sitting there in disbelief, like, that's it? That's all I get to say? The judge is not letting the defense lawyers put on any defense case whatsoever. So it's unbelievable. Never seen anything like it.
He doesn't. These defendants do not deserve a mistrial. They deserve a not guilty verdict from jurors of their peers, and that's not what they're allowed to hear here.
I don't even know if I can do this.
You can do it.
Yeah. I'm Margaret Houston. I'm Cliven's sister.
You were the one assaulted, weren't you?
You're the one that got bodied.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel so much love for these men. They didn't know us, which Eric was trying to tell, I didn't know them. They came because of the things that they saw. They seen me, Davy, and Ammon abused and other things, and they cannot even bring that up in court. They can't say why they came, what they saw before they came, and now we see they can't even say what they saw when they were there on that day. I mean, I'm in awe. I think we're all in shock of what we've seen and what's going on. And these good men can you spend the rest of their life in jail for coming and standing with us, not knowing us, and they can spend the rest of their lives in jail for standing up for their neighbors, and they are not getting a trial. You know what? We've always been taught. The prosecution tells their side, the defense tells their side, the jury decides if we're guilty or innocent. That is not how our courts are run now. This court, we have no defense. Our only defense, our only witness was pulled off the witness stand today. And he may be the only one. Scott may not even be able to be on there Monday. And we have no idea what's going to happen Monday.
And is it true that you're not allowed to testify in their behalf?
I'm not, no. None of us, they probably had a list of how many, probably 100 and something witnesses. They've denied everybody. The ones that were interviewed yesterday were all denied. Everyone's been denied. So Eric stands up there, tries to defend himself, and what happens? They throw him off the bench, and he can't even defend himself. So we have nothing. We have nothing. And we need you here Monday. We need you to be in that court to witness this and see what this judge and this prosecution is going to say on Monday morning. We have no clue what they're going to say. The jury was so upset. Some of them were really, really mad. And I seen one personally write a note, send it to the judge. She looked at it and she went and threw it on the desk.
And walked out.
Margaret, don't you think that some of the reason that what happened late today was because we were filling up the seats out there? Don't you think that might have been?
You know what? I don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah?
I have no clue. It's just unbelievable. That's all I can say. It's unbelievable. We are not in the America that we thought we were.
It's not even an illusion anymore.
It's
though.
Not an illusion.
It's no longer an illusion.
It's not.
We've been talking for years about how it's not the same America and that this is just an illusion. This is no longer an illusion, guys. These are the facts. This is the way they're running the country. Period. It is obvious. It is in your face. This is no longer a discussion, a debate, or a topic. It's not an illusion. This is exactly the way they're running it now. They're running it by violating your rights. This is not the same as the founding fathers had written for us. The supreme law of the land is not just being chipped away at anymore. It's being eviscerated. It has been eviscerated. Those are the facts. This is not my opinion. I am not just making up another speculation from my brain. I am telling you, our freedoms are not just under attack. They have succeeded in absolutely violating us. All of us. Those men being violated right now is representative of all of us.
Absolutely. And what did they do last time when there was a mistrial? They came back at everything they could possibly do to stop them from getting another mistrial and making sure that they get a guilty verdict. And here what has happened. Oh my gosh, our flags are going down. Here what has happened.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Here what has happened is they did everything they possibly could do, and they are still not winning. So what will they come back with? Will they come back and just say, oh, you know, they've disappeared in our our jail system. We don't know where they are and we can't get them to a courtroom. What is the next step here? Because everything I have seen, they are pulling out all the stops, and the media is not here. The media is not in the room. They're not reporting on this. We are the only people out here. I started this. I knew nothing. I came here to be in trial and to tell people from Idaho. John came down and helped me and taught me everything I know and helped me get to where I am. And, you know, all of these people like Mo and like John and myself that travel around to help you get the information out. That's the only way we're doing this. That's the only way that we even know what's going on. Our Constitution is gone. If you saw BJ Sloper's video the other day when he threw the Constitution on the ground, I agree. The Constitution is no longer law of the land, and it's about, as you know,
only convenient for them.
Exactly.
Convenient when
that's all I've
to
got.
help them violate you further, to violate another right of yours. So a lot of times what I've seen from the elite, so to speak, is when you have a violation against one of your rights, they will use another part of the Constitution and somehow word that and twist the words of that part of the Constitution in order to help them justify the violation of your right, which is irrelevant. It's an irrelevant part of it. I've seen it over and over again, and that's exactly what we're seeing in court today. Actually, I don't even think there was any part of the Constitution being used against anybody, just the gross negligence and violation of their rights, of all of their rights, any defense rights whatsoever, or rights to speak for oneself.
A lot of people are asking questions on how can they help. If you could put
I would love to say
InfoWars and how if everybody sent a message to InfoWars to get on top of this and stay on top of it.
Not InfoWars, yes. Please come. I begged you guys last year. I don't know if you ever saw my messages. I was nobody to you. I'm still probably nobody to you. I don't care what I am. I am a person. I'm an American. I am asking for alternative media that has been doing this longer than me. I am asking for all alternative media. This is a call out, straight up, right now. I am calling out Americans to be Americans and stand here, not just to witness this, but say no more. Witness in court or stand down here with David Fleeman and protest this. I am calling out all alternative media right now. This is where you need to be. I know Antifa's not down here. I get it. I get there's other problems. I understand. But this right here is setting precedents, setting the precedents to continue to violate you, me, them, all of you. This is setting precedents. Alternative media, we need you here now. I am calling you out. You have the weekend. Please drop everything. I'm sorry about your stories, but we need you here to cover this story. You've done better than me for years. I've been watching you for years. I have been watching you for years. And it's because of you guys that I've been inspired to do the right thing and stand by my neighbor. I was nothing. And I need you. I need all of you. Because you're the only media for us. The only media that we have left. So I need you here. We need you here.
We have a jam-packed weekend. We're going to have some roundtable talks later tonight, and we're going to probably have some more talks tomorrow. We also have Camp Liberty with Lysander Spooner. We need everybody to show up there. Saturday at 12 o'clock. Saturday to 12. What time is it? 6 o'clock in the evening. Everyone's welcome. We're going to have some of the same talk, educational speakers there from all over the country. And we invite everyone there to come there and listen and learn and hear about what's happening in these courts, what's happening in other places in other people's lives. And then again Monday. So if you get here this weekend, you're welcome over there at Camp Liberty for the Lysander Spooner talk and stuff there. So everybody please come over there. Symposium, yeah. Bigger words than I'm used to saying. But so please come. Join us there. If you can't join us there, be down here Monday morning. We're hoping and praying for a lot of people. Other than that, I think that's all we have to say. This was a jam-packed press statement, interview with everybody, and a lot of people were upset, obviously, as you just seen. Keep praying for us. Expect some more live streams here throughout the weekend about some of this same talk as we recoup from what we just found out there in the courtroom. So I think that's it. Okay, God bless. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Their voices.
So who's ever going to take the next one?
John, let's hear from you.
Oh, here's Shauna first, yeah.
Myri tried 3 times. Every time they tried to raise the question that Eric would say who was up on the mesa with snipers pointing rifles at them. We knew that that's what was up there. He was not allowed to even mention the mesa. He wasn't allowed to mention the telescope that he had that they could see the snipers from. They said that the prosecution,
I can tell you that the jurors were shocked and appalled, I hope. And one juror wrote a question, the judge read it, and threw it down and walked out. I would be surprised if we come back Monday and are allowed to hear Scott Drexler take the stand. I would be surprised she doesn't call this a mistrial first thing Monday morning. Now I'm going to open this up to everyone behind me because I think we need to have everyone's opinion on exactly how this went.
4 cameras. There's a reason we have a crowd behind us, but first we're going to start with the 6th Amendment. And there is a good reason why. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Today marks the day of the largest, most grossest violation of the 6th Amendment. That is all I have to say.
So we were upstairs and I can just talk next to you. So we were upstairs and Eric Parker was on the stand. There was another objection. The judge says we will not be wasting any more time with this with sidebars. Marchese asked him, so what direction you were looking? He's like, I was looking forward and up and to the right. The judge herself calls a sidebar, and Eric Parker is ripped from the stand and no longer allowed to testify. There will be no cross-examination, there will be no jury questions, and court is done for the day.
What happened to the one jury question we saw pass?
There was one jury question